Hey, this is my first attempt at EMDR diaries. My name is Shivam. I was diagnosed with complex PTSD, and I am now about 2 years into recovery. I've done EMDR for well over a year and a half at this point, so you're not getting me at the beginning of my EMDR diaries, but yeah. So I guess that's one thing. I've been at this for a year and a half, like every week EMDR, sometimes multiple times a week. It does take time, but it's still worth it. Yeah, so when I went in, I thought that it would be a really quick fix. Like, I would just like do a couple of sessions, like 12, 16 sessions, and I'd be out. It's like, no, I went through 20 years of pretty bad child abuse, like physical and emotional abuse, and bullying at school, and there was some racial stuff thrown in there. So, yeah, it's gonna take time, unfortunately. But yeah, I'll talk about my session today. So I went into the session feeling pretty anxious, actually. Let's see. Yeah, I was feeling anxious. I knew it was related to my relationship. Not that anything was wrong with the relationship. It was just, I feel like this week I learned a lot about my more anxious attachment style in the relationship. And I realized that I constantly feel this fear of abandonment. Well, not constantly, but like it can become very pronounced at times, and it was definitely pronounced this week. And today I felt it, and I knew that, like, okay, this isn't rooted in reality. So I was just sitting with the physical sensations, and they were pretty awful. Like, I was at my desk at work, I was reading a textbook, and I was just feeling all these awful sensations. I'm like, this is fucking awful. So I biked back. We did EMDR, so there was a lot of release. The main memory that came up is when I was younger, my parents would hit me, and I always felt this blockage in my throat, and I always wanted to ask, "Do you still love me?" So yeah, it was very, very painful, and just I always felt like love could be taken away at any time, especially if they hit me. It was pretty awful, and that would lead to a lot of anxiety in my current relationship, where it's like, if my girlfriend gets upset at me, I'd start worrying, like, fuck, it's all done, like, she's gonna leave me, and that's not actually true. So, well, this manifests as actually a pain in my heart. So I don't know, like, if you've heard of the Enneagram, I'm a type 4, which is called the individualist, but they're called heart types. So I assume that means that, like, there's like some center at like the heart chakra. I know I'm getting into woo-woo terms, but that's the only way I can describe this somaticized pain. It's like a pain in my heart. Like, I'm walking around heartbroken most of the time. So yeah, the image that came into my mind is that there are all these fish hooks and like gunk in my heart, and I'm like pulling it out, but then that's kind of a violent way of doing it. And then I realized that, like, okay, my girlfriend loves me, and I just imagine her telling me to like be kinder to myself, and like imagine just like melting the fish hooks and letting it drip out of my heart. It sounds very woo woo, but or very I don't know how to describe it. It doesn't sound scientific at all, but once you do EMDR, you kind of realize that, like, that's, I guess, how the mind is working. But I did that, and then I realized, like, I truly feel loved by her, and then I truly feel loved by the other people in my life, like my sister, my father. Like, I've really reconstructed my relationship with my dad to some extent. It's still a process. My friends, I go to this thing called a men's team, so yeah, I really feel deeply loved on all these different fronts, and I have never felt that before in my life. No, I've never let myself feel that. My girlfriend definitely loves me, and I just wasn't letting her into my heart in a way. So yeah, it was a very, very moving experience. So I cried a lot. The stain here, that's from the tears. um, but my heart definitely feels more open, and I feel much happier. I do feel like there are people in my life who care and I can count on. I'm hoping that this anxious attachment style also attenuates a bit, because I know it does actually cause issues. So yeah, that's kind of what happened. It was very intense in the moment, a lot of crying, and I still do feel some sensations in my throat, actually. And those are the same sensations that I would feel as a kid when I wanted to ask my parents, like, do you still love me? So yeah, but that was my experience with EMDR today. So very powerful. I recommend it to, well, not everybody with complex PTSD, but I think if you have complex PTSD or some sort of trauma history, or normal PTSD, I would highly recommend trying EMDR. And healing is possible. So yeah, thank you for watching. Bye bye.